my name is Chris, and welcome to Anime Debates. This week we're going to discuss Mirai Nikki, aka The Future Diary, versus Deadman Wonderland. Now both these shows have a common theme, or at least arcs, that contain Battle Royales. They contain death battles, meaning you go in and someone's not gonna leave until they are dead. That is how you win the game. And it is literally insane. Now both of these shows have points where the characters wind up getting out of their situations, but it's still a common theme that happens throughout both. Let's just get right to the start of it. So I'm gonna start with Mirai Nikki. Mirai Nikki is super intense. It's super compelling. It has so many elements that it's juggling, but it juggles them all very well. It goes from comedy to a love story to a horror genre to like brutal battles and everything in between. It is suspenseful. It's a thriller. It is literally on the edge of your seat dramedy, if you will. Like, I have points where I hated the main character, Yuki. He is one of those characters that cries about everything and won't stop crying. He complains about how weak he is, but doesn't do anything to fix his problems. But then he does fix it, but then he goes back to whining it all over again, and he makes really bad choices. And you watch the show and you just go like, oh my God, I hate you, kid. And yet, he's endearing. Even the other characters on the show, which is something I really like to note of, on the show would echo the things you were thinking. Like when he cried all the time, you're like, dude, stop crying. Someone in the show go, dude, stop crying. All you do is whine. Stop it. Like, they called him out for his crap. And he grew. He grew as a character. And also in this show, they took a lot of time to develop everyone. Almost every character got their own like major focus where you really fell in love with them or really got a chance to see their motivation for going on this gigantic adventure they went on. Now, the thing I glossed over here was the plot. So the plot of the show is basically this kid who's a loner and has an imaginary friend, goes to see his imaginary friend, and imaginary friend winds up being like a god of space and time. That god of space and time has entered him into a tournament where he basically gets a diary that can tell the future. And he has to battle all these other people that get the same kind of diaries with twists on their own little ends. And then there's a girl who's in love with him, who's been stalking him, named Yuno, who is protecting him like almost all the way through. And you get to see their relationship develop, you get to see their interactions with everybody else, and you get to see them kill people. I mean, it gets really intense. And there's a big mystery overarching this entire thing. And when you figure it all out, which you won't be able to figure it all out unless you cheat, it blows your freaking mind. The show is just so well executed. At first, I would have said the show was all over the place, because it is. But it's all over the place in a very well planned way, if that makes any sense. Like, there's comedic elements to the show that actually tie into the main serious plot points. So when you watch the show and go, okay, this show is funny, this show's endearing, this show is gory, this show is crazy, you also find out this show is cohesively put together in a way that just works. Like, it's really well done. And again, you'll start watching it and at first you'll go, okay, what the heck? But then it'll grow on you and you'll get it. Trust me. And also, I feel like it's just me being crazy maybe, but you wind up kind of falling in love a little bit with Yuno and getting mad at Yuki for like mistreating her sometimes, but then other times you're like, okay, maybe, just maybe, it was all justified. Like, it's all over the place and it's beautiful. Now, the next show I'm gonna talk about is Deadman Wonderland, which again is in the same kind of central theme of Battle Royale, but then it goes off in other places, but doesn't go in the places like as well as this previous show. Now, the main character is his name is Ganta. He gets framed for a mass murder at his high school. I believe he's in high school. He may not be, but whatever, he's in high school. So he gets framed for a mass murder in his high school by this creature called the Red Man that shows up and just shams like a freaking like gem in his chest. And now he has these abilities to control his blood, but use it as a weapon and fight in this like in the tournament and fight in other ways too. But the prison itself is corrupt and crazy. You get to see this whole cast of characters, which are not developed as well as the ones in Mirai Nikki. Like, they're developed, they're there, you get to see glimpses of them, but you just don't ever really get that. I guess you don't really ever just grow as attached to them. Like, you get to see them, they all give you pretenses at first, and then they all reveal themselves to be different from what you thought they were in the past. Every character has their own moment where they shine, they have their own moment where they grow, but it just doesn't feel as satisfying as what happened in the other show. Now, as you go on, you kind of don't really like Ganta. Ganta's not a likable character. Like, he has redeeming qualities, but he's very brash, and he cries a lot. Like, he doesn't cry the same way that Yuki cries in Mirai Nikki, but he still cries a lot. But his cries are justified, so you actually feel more empathy towards him. Now, he has a girl similar to Yuki that protects him because she thinks that he's weak. Now this girl is very, 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 very annoying. She has one of those anime voices and one of those anime personalities that cross up in almost every show where you're just like, oh my gosh, will you please go? Go, go, go! Get off the screen! Leave now! Her name is Shiro. And she has an issue that I won't explain to you guys and I don't want to spoil it for you, but it makes her a more complex character. And it makes the show more interesting because she's in it. I think if she wasn't in it, the show wouldn't have its own spin. Now this show has small twists here and there, but then its underarching mystery never really ever gets solved because the show just ends in a very like uncelebratory fashion. You find out later though that this show just didn't do well in Japan, and the second season, if they would have followed the manga correctly, would have been phenomenal. I'm talking phenomenal. Like this show would have been my favorite show of all time had it continued going with where the manga goes. And I went and picked up the manga and now I'm reading it and I'm addicted to it. And it makes me so sad to say that the show, because of where it didn't go and the loose ends it didn't tie up, it's just not as good. It's a good show, but you don't get any satisfaction. Like, the character never really finds out why he was sent to prison. Like the real reason he was sent to prison. And the character doesn't really ever get any resolution or even reach his final goal that he wanted to reach. And you can tell there's little hints there and there that if he did reach that goal though, it would tear him apart. And I'm not gonna say anything more than that. So you should go watch this show. Just like you should watch Mirai Nikki. You have to pick between the two because Mirai Nikki has a complete story and a complete plot. It is going to be the winner of this. And because of the character development. The character development just ties it all together. Like you can't watch this show and not have the feels. You can't. Like I had all the feels and I wasn't even touching anything. I was just like, yo, who is touching me right now? Is that, oh, you're in my heart. Oh. So yeah, there we go. So we're gonna do this anime debate and wrap it up with Mirai Nikki being the superior show. You can watch it on YouTube. I watched the entire thing on YouTube. It's not on Netflix, but just to warn you, I did watch the dub and went back and watched the subtitle later. But I'm just telling you right now, it's a good show. You will enjoy it. Deadman Wonderland, you will also enjoy it, but be ready to have to read afterwards. Be ready to know that once the show is over in this season, you're going to need to read the manga because what happens in the manga next is great. I just don't want you to be deprived. I want you to experience good things, people. That's what I want for you. And that's all we got for today's anime debate. If you guys want to see me debate anything else, let me know down below. Give me some suggestions. I'm always ears for it. And I love doing this. So guys, just come on, let's get into it. Also, if you've seen either show, which one do you like more? What's your favorite parts? Let's have a spoilerific discussion down there because I want to discuss this show, both of them really, in mass without just having to like be safe. So I would love to do a spoiler-free discussion later because Mirai Nikki like got to me a lot. Deadman Wonderland, if you read the manga, gets to you a lot too. But both just have those, oh man, I need more. I need it. Well, thanks a lot, guys. Ever use teleport. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you can go ahead and check out some more of my videos or just add me on Twitter so we can have a discussion. Thanks a lot.